Hey everybody, Justin Worden here at SMTAI International. You're watching What's New in Electronics. My guest today is Mike Bixenman of Magalytics. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, Justin. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm always doing good. So are you guys exhibiting today?
We are. We are.
Now, you guys just explain the very high level. You guys are a branch of Kaizen, or how's that all work out?
So, when you look at Kaizen makes engineered cleaning materials to remove process contamination after you build up a circuit card. What we all know is that a lot of those process contaminations are ionic in nature, and if they're exposed to temperature or humidity, you can create leakage currents, and those leakage currents can cause no bound fault failures or total device failure. So when you think about cleaning, there's multiple steps in building an assembly, and residues cumulative. So, but you know, the question has come up time and time again: why clean? There's these no clean materials. Why would you ever want to clean? Well, part of the this whole industry of this question is that because people experience failures over the course of time. The Rose method had been commonly used as the pass-fail method out in industry, but Rose is an old technology. It's an antiquated technology, and where we see failures today, they're more component specific and process specific. So there was a gap in the marketplace, and that gap was a need for better test methods and instrumentation to be able to understand the residue effects on the circuit assembly and whether or not they're benign, safe, or whether they're problematic. So the defense industry was looking for companies that who had a background in this and who could help further investigate this particular issue and come up with better methods, test methods, processes to help people characterize their materials. If they are cleaning, are they cleaning good enough? If they're using a specific solder material, is it safe to leave behind? So part of what Magnalytics does is that we tried to fill that gap. And part of the gap is that we designed instruments, and the magic of our instruments, as you know, Justin, is building the user interface so that these instruments will tell you what you need to know and any technician could run them. The second thing that we did is we built and engineered test boards that are representative of production hardware. And we built the component structures where people can build them up, they can, with their process, they can send them back to Magnalytics, we will SIR test them, and we'll write and help them develop their objective evidence qualified manufacturing plan. So it's I said a lot, but basically the true value of Magnalytics is to fill a gap. And you ask about, well, why Kaizen? We've been in this cleaning world, and so it was just a natural extension to fill that gap.
Well, I really appreciate that information. That really helps explain the way the industry is moving. And, you know, so much of our conversations we have on a daily basis is how the customer needs to set their process up with no cleaning, water soluble, all the different fluxes, the cleaning processes out there. What I really think I'm hearing from you is, Magnalytics is kind of filling that gap, and it's allowing them to speed up their process, but I guess validate their process a lot faster.
Yep, and it's all about validation. It's about understanding. And the great thing that Magnalytics does is that because we have that background into what causes failures and why, if it's a residue issue, we can give recommendations to the customer on how to fix that issue. Just like if they're cleaning the parts, cleaning is a process. And you can change the result just by changing the parameters within the process. And so if we understand that and we see where the failures occur, what we can do is we can guide that customer in correcting their process or changing their process slightly to get the result that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and so many times we get caught up in that trial and error, repetitive research and development process where you're busy and you're making progress, But if we can cut down the time it takes to get that final product out, in the end, we're just saving money and putting more product out the door.
Yeah, and trial and error is the wrong way to do it. You should really drive a decision based off of data. And that's what we do is what we do in the testing that we do, we're doing it in a stress condition of temperature, humidity, and bias. We're collecting that data as the test goes on, and we can see where leakage currents take place. We can understand why they occurred, and it gives us the information that we can accurately make a true diagnostic recommendation on how to fix it.
Well, and to be very blunt and straightforward, I mean, there's certain customers, we know what they're making. We don't want any error at all. And we want to shrink that trial process down because of the reliability requirements that these customers have.
Yes, when we think about high reliability segments, products have to perform as promised when they're asked to perform. And so whether it's an autonomous vehicle or if it's a defense or if it's a medical type issue, if that product doesn't perform, bad things can happen. So it's all about, as the great thing about electronics is that it's always pushing the edge of innovation. And if we can be there to help people understand their material stack up and what they need to do as things get smaller, as components shrink, as we have more interconnects underneath components, what we're doing is we're helping people understand.
So I want to take this to a higher level here. So the last 3 years, we've seen a lot of change in the industry. More people are bringing processes in-house, and we're also seeing a lot of brand new facilities being built. If you could give any advice out there, when should they reach out and get Magalytics involved in setting their process up?
Well, if it's new facilities from the very beginning, because one of the nice things that SIR testing will do for you is you can characterize your materials. When you look at soldering materials, there's literally thousands of them on the market, and it's kind of like a black magic. You don't necessarily know the characteristic of that residue, but if you start from the beginning, you can understand what are the best materials to build with, and then if you're going to clean, what are the proper parameters that I need in my cleaning process to ensure that I'm going to fully clean the part, I'm not going to partially clean it. Remember, that rosin resin structure or polymer creates an oxygen barrier. It encapsulates. But if you break that encapsulation, you're removing metal oxides. And if you bring moisture to it, you're going to create leakage currents. So if you start at the beginning to do the proper characterization throughout your process, you will have a qualified process that works as long as you keep it within those guidelines.
Well, Mike, I mean, that's a lot of wonderful information. And, just to summarize here, what we're really talking about is streamlining your process, cut down on the trial and error, and just make your whole process much more reliable, validate quicker. And in today's industry, speed is money. Is that right?
Well, we would all like to think so. And it's not only speed is money, but what people rely on today is all these electronic devices have enabled us to do things we never thought we would ever be able to do. And what they want is that they want it to work when they need it. And so that's what it's all about. It's just really trying to improve reliability over the course of time.
Well, Mike, it's always a pleasure. I learn something new every time I talk to you. I greatly appreciate your time and hope you have a wonderful show.
Thank you, sir.